Hello my friends, it's Lionel here with you guys with a brand new YouTube BitChute video. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about the whole situation that is unfolding in Iran with Israel and the United States. Well, we know this is coming for a long time now. Things have been building up. And I've been telling you guys on this channel for a while now that once this conflict starts, it's going to usher in the reset. The financial reset and just a world reset, okay? And it looks like we're here now. And, you know, I've also been telling you guys that it's going to be aligned with the lunar blood moon, which is happening in just a couple of days. And sure enough, you know, I've been talking about that for months. And sure enough, here we are. It happened just a few days before this lunar blood moon. So why is that? Well, could it be there's a deeper ritual going on here? Well, that's what we're going to be speaking about in today's video. And also, I encourage you guys to stick around for the second half of the video because I'm going to be discussing the Jim Carrey stuff a little bit deeper. That video ended up taking off and getting a lot more views than I expected it was going to get, and a lot of hate and everything. And, you know, I just want to settle the record just a little bit more. Don't worry, I'm not going to get all worked up like I did in the last video. It's going to be a very calm approach, just to show a couple extra clips, a couple extra things, and just explain a little bit more where I'm coming from. Okay, so if you want to see more on that, stick around to the second half of the video. All right, so let's just get into it. Just encourage you guys to hit that subscribe button and smash the like button. So, March 3rd, my friends, is a lunar blood moon. And these lunar blood moons, if you look all throughout history, okay, even I think the last time you'd have to look back is October 7th, when the whole stuff went off with Gaza and Hamas and Israel. It happened right before a solar eclipse, so it was eclipse season. And of course, there was a solar eclipse, I believe, on the 14th, and then on the 28th was a lunar eclipse. And that's when all this chaos started. But when you go back through history, thousands of years, major wars always take place around lunar eclipses, and especially blood moons, okay? They were always seen as an omen for war and other life-changing events, world-changing events, we should say. So, I've been feeling that this is exactly what was going to happen. You know, there's been a lot of talk about Iran and Israel for months now, but nothing ended up happening, right? There's always just talking and stuff like that. A lot of rumors that war was going to start, and a lot of signs that it was going to go in that direction. But I always felt, you know what, they're going to be waiting for the lunar blood moon, which of course is March 3rd. And it's not always right on the day. Sometimes it's a few days before, other times it's a few days after. But the reason they're doing it in this proximity is because of the energy that the lunar blood moon brings, okay? It's a very heavy and intense energy. And, you know, these occultists, the dark occultists, they do all their ritual stuff when these energies are present, okay? And almost every time major world events happen, it lines up not only with the blood moons and the lunar eclipses, but also with planetary alignments as well. And we just had a planetary alignment that was showing, you know, there's probably going to be something going on with Iran. And that, of course, that was Saturn and Neptune, I believe. And lots of other stuff with the planets. You know, there was just so much going on. And another thing, which is very interesting, is on March 3rd, the lunar blood moon eclipse, it's also a holiday, a Jewish holiday, known as Purim. And where Purim all goes back to, it goes back to the Bible, I believe. The book of Esther, all right? And in the book of Esther, it talks about a event between the Jewish people, right, and the Persians. and something God protected the Israelites, and pretty much he came to their rescue and pretty much genocided the Persian people. Well, who are the Persians? Of course, the Persians are modern day, is Iran. Persia was what Iran is today. So interesting that right around the time that this war breaks out, it's coming up to this holiday, this Jewish holiday, which is about God coming to save them from the Persians. And now here we are. We always say history repeats itself, and that's exactly what is happening now. All right, and of course, it all coincides with the lunar blood moon. So far, like we said, there's the Ayatollah appears to be dead. At least that's what they're telling us. We have explosions, and many of the leaders have been taken out. But not only just that, Iran did strikes back on different places, including Dubai. I know somebody who lives there, and it's very real what happened there. There was drones and rockets and stuff hitting hotels and stuff. It's going down, my friends. All right, and on top of that, Iran has shut down the Strait of Hormuz. Okay, and this is going to be huge. All right, my friends, because the Strait of Hormuz deals with 20% of the world's oil. That's right. A lot of countries depend on Iran to get their oil. So this is going to affect oil prices worldwide. All right? So on Monday, we're going to see the impact of this and how high oil is going to go, and especially if this carries on for months. But, I think it was at $67 at the weekend close on Friday. We could see it jump up to $100, $150. If this keeps going on, even $300 a barrel. And what's that going to do? Well, it's going to affect everybody worldwide. You're going to see your gas prices go up, and you're going to see the economy really get affected. Obviously, governments are going to have to raise interest rates, which is going to end up raising the inflation rates. Okay, so you can expect to see prices go up everywhere, along with gas and everything. So, my friends, this is all part of the reset agenda. I'm telling you that right now. They're doing this to bring in the financial reset. All right? They want everything to go digital. And what they want to do is they want to crash the old system. Okay? The old system has to die first to bring in the new. They always, all throughout history, use war to change up the currencies. All right? So you're going to see these major world events continue to play out. And unfortunately, there's going to be victims in it. You heard Trump himself in his speech say that there's going to be casualties. And he's speaking about American casualties, which means we're going boots on the ground, my friends. So, things could get bad. Conscription could get reinstated. The draft, depending on how bad things get. It's hard to say at this point. And what concerns me is the whole cyber attack agenda. Okay? What can Iran do to the United States of America? Well, we've seen the predictive programming in movies like Leave This World Behind, where, Iran does a cyber attack. Well, we know Iran has a big cyber team, right? And we know that that's definitely on the table for what they could do. Even if it's not a complete blackout, if they really want to affect the markets and the financial reset, all they got to do is do a cyber attack to the banking system. You won't be able to go into your bank account or take money out of the ATM just for a few days. Oh, that will cause so much mayhem. All right, my friends? So, my advice to everybody is I hope you guys have been getting prepared. Okay? Get your money out of the banks now. Get food, get water, and really get prepared, because things could get real bad real quick. And obviously, I hope you guys have been paying attention and taking my advice, or not financial advice, but my financial awareness on the new digital system and getting money out of the dollar and putting it into the new system that's coming. All that stuff. See my previous videos for that, right? But this current system, whether we like it or not, is going away, and the new one's coming, just like it's happened many times before. So, get prepared. Gold, silver, all that kind of stuff is great too. You want to have real hard assets, but really get ready, because I'm telling you guys, this is where all these things are heading towards the direction, So get prepared, and let's just pray for everybody, I'm certainly not a religious person myself, but I do believe in sending good energy, and to people on both sides. A lot of people will want to only support Iran, or I only support Israel, but look, we got to support the innocent people on both sides, because at the end of the day, it's the powers that be, the governments, the secret society networks, who are behind it all, who are doing this. And never forget that the people never want war. It's the war pigs who want the war. All right, my friends. So send good vibes, good energy, prayers, whatever, to the people who are going to be affected and who are being affected by this. And let's hope this doesn't get out of control and it is a full-blown WW3 situation with conscription and, who knows, maybe even attacks on American soil, which I have a feeling it's just a matter of time. Something's going to happen. Whether it's with the Mexican situation with Mexico, Venezuela, Cuba. We know that Iran and Venezuela had connections there. Hezbollah and stuff, sleeper cells within America. That could get activated any day. So get prepared, my friends. And I'm going to keep you guys updated every step of the way. So, like I said, I hope you guys are subscribed for that. Alright, so now getting on to the next part of the video. Yeah, we got to talk about that Jim Carrey stuff. Yeah. So, I made the video a couple days ago, and it's just my usual self. I always go on these rants and stuff, and and I'm getting affected by this eclipse energy myself, right? So I just want to apologize if I offended any of my viewers, okay? Because I do know I've offended many. I've seen many people in the comment section, because a lot of people do believe that he's a clone, and I guess some of my words and my attitude about it, offended some people. But, it's just, I was in the zone like I usually am when I'm ranting and raving. I didn't mean anything personal to anybody. I even said in the video, it's nothing personal. It's just the way old Lionel is, right? But I certainly didn't mean to offend anybody. But I feel like I got to set the record straight here, because a lot of people, see, what happened is this video showed up in the search bar, or in the YouTube search, which my videos don't usually do that. But since this was such a hot topic and nobody made a video about Jim Carrey being a clone, it was the first video for a while that popped up. So it got thousands of views. And a lot of people believe that he's a clone, right? So a lot of people are sitting there, they've never seen my videos before, and even people who have. Many are trying to accuse me now of being a CIA agent. I'm being paid, all this kind of crazy stuff. And they say, what's happened to you? He's obviously a clone. Well, I want to show a few more videos and give you a little bit more of my perspective on things. And I want to assure you, I'm not being paid by anybody. I'm not a CIA agent, okay? Those remarks alone, all you'd have to do is look at my page. I only have 20,000 followers. Most of my videos only get 2,000 to 4,000 views. If you think the powers that be are paying me when I hardly reach anybody, and then, okay, that video, since it showed up in the search bar, got 16,000 views. But let me tell you guys something. Nobody's paying me for 16,000 views. That's still peanuts on the grand scale of things. And then when you look at the videos saying that he's a clone, those videos are being pushed by the algorithm. You got literally videos getting millions of views talking about the clone stuff. Okay? So that doesn't make sense that they would allow all that stuff to come out, but then the CIA or the NWO is going to come pay me so I could get 17,000 views and then go back to my 2,000 to 3,000 views. Like, no, nobody's paying me. And guess what? The whole Jim Carrey clone thing, it's not a threat to the powers that be at all. If anything, they wanted that distraction. They want people talking about Jim Carrey because we literally have WW3 and much more important things going on in the world right now. Okay? So they want people to be distracted by some retired celebrity because Jim Carrey doesn't really do movies anymore. Those things really don't matter at the end of the day, my friends. So I can assure you, nobody's paying me off. This is just my opinion on things. Okay, and I'm sorry if I was a little aggressive in that video. I rant, what can I say? So I want to go further on why I believe it's the real Jim Carrey. All right? Because one common theme that I've seen, not only on my video, but all over the internet, is people keep on going back to the eye color thing. They obviously didn't watch my whole video. They probably clicked off as soon as they heard me say it's plastic surgery. But they keep on going, oh, his eyes are green and this and that. So what that tells me is that people only have seen that short 20-second viral clip that went around. And they haven't watched any other footage from him from that night. And that also, like, I want to get into what way he's acting. A lot of people say it doesn't change the way he was acting. I've been watching him my whole life. I know him, and he wouldn't act like that, you know. And I get it. I've been watching Jim Carrey my whole life too, okay? So I wanted to get into that a little bit more. So I got a couple videos to show you guys just in regards to the way he was acting. A lot of people are saying he doesn't act like that, so it can't be him, it's a clone. Now, again, most people are basing that assumption off just seeing 20 seconds or whatever, the 2-minute video where he was acting the way he was acting, okay? And they say, that's not him, I would know better. But if you would look throughout the rest of the night, you know, I was watching and I think he was doing a lot of things that the old Jim would do, okay? So just picture for me, you know, that what I'm saying is correct. I'm not saying you have to believe that, right? You're free to believe what you want. But let's say he just did get some Botox done or some face plastic surgery, got some fillers, all right? Now take a look at the way he's acting here all throughout the night. I got some things from his acceptance speech, from when he was sitting in the crowd. To me, if he did just get Botox and stuff, he's doing a lot of the same kind of facial movements and stuff to me. So I'll show you that, and then we'll get into some more on why he may have been acting a little bit different than he usually does. So take a look.
Maintenant, les splendides nommés pour le César du meilleur son sont...
Merci de faire une ovation à l'un des plus grands acteurs du monde, Monsieur Jim Carrey.
300 ans, mon grand-père, Marc-François Carré, oui, Carré, quittait Saint-Malo en France pour le Canada. Plus tard, j'ai continué jusqu'à l'homme le plus drôle que j'ai jamais connu, mon père.
Percy Joseph Carey.
Qui m'a appris la valeur de l'amour, de la générosité et de rire. Si vous voulez que la fortune vous sourie, souriez lui d'abord. C'est très difficile, mais nous devons essayer, try, yes. Je vais toujours chérir ce souvenir. Comment était mon français? Presque médiocre, non? Pardonnez-moi, je ne parle pas que mon français, mais je l'emprunte juste. Ma langue est fatiguée. Je vous aime tous, du fond du cœur. Merci.
So there you guys go. And as you noticed, his eye color was brown, right? So a lot of people were saying, "Oh, it's not Jim because his eyes are brown and it was green in that viral footage." Well, then how come the rest of the night, if you look at all the other clips and all the other pictures of him, it was his regular brown color? My friends, it's the lighting. It's that simple. Not only the lighting, but the camera lens. So if you're in a specific lighting and it's a specific kind of camera, the way it comes through when you're on the camera, combined with the lighting, in some situations, it could lighten your eyes. And even in regular life, even without a camera, eye color can change. Mine do that all the time, okay? And many other people have noticed that, even with darker eyes and other lighting, it could look a lot brighter, all right? So for me, that truly debunks that, because how would you explain him having brown or hazel eyes all the rest of the night? Okay? So that, we could just write that completely off. And like I said, he looked like he was doing a lot of the old things, face movements and stuff the old Jim does. And yes, he was speaking in French because it was at a French award show. That's another thing people want to say. You know, people, they feel like they know him personally. And they say, I know Jim, and based on how he was in the past few years with his interviews, he doesn't want anything to do with Hollywood anymore, and he wouldn't go to an award show anymore, and he hates award shows, which it's interesting. I fact-checked that, and he's been to well over 60 award shows throughout his life. So even if he did start speaking a little bit more negatively about it in recent years, it's not like he didn't go to them. He went to lots throughout the years. But yes, he's taken a step back. But people got to realize this wasn't a Hollywood award ceremony. This was a French one in France where everybody was speaking French. It wasn't your typical Hollywood thing. It was a celebration of his life and his work. Okay? For 50 years of his work. It's not your typical award show. And yes, he wanted to do it in French because everybody else is speaking French. So as he said in his interviews, he studied, he practiced. He was probably very nervous because he's not a fluent French speaker. So if he was up there and he's not seeming himself, it's probably because he's a human. He has anxiety if he's got to do public speaking in another language that he's not fluent in. Okay, so, and on top of that all, it's an emotional night for him. Okay, he even said that he was emotional that night. All right, I found a nice video. This guy kind of sums it up kind of well, what he thought as well. So take a look.
People now think that Jim Carrey has been replaced with a clone after seeing this interview.
My favorite funny face is the one I'm wearing right now.
The face you're wearing right now?
What do you mean by that?
Now, that's just one clip from this 2-minute interview, but I will say, when you watch it with the idea of he's been replaced, there are moments in it where you're like, what do you mean by that?
I'm dead.
And here's the thing, he's in Paris receiving this honorary Caesar Award for basically his entire career and his impact on comedy and film. He's being honored for 50 plus years of his life. You could tell he's emotional, he's talking about his dad, it's sentimental, but we've never seen him like this, or at least I haven't. Anytime I've seen a clip of him, an interview, a movie, he's always like off the wall, this wacky personality. So you see him in this like sedated, calm manner and you're like, that's not Jim Carrey. And I don't believe in the clone conspiracies, but even when I'm watching this interview, I'm like, did this dude get lobotomized? Like, why is he so sedated right now? So while I say that I don't believe in the clone conspiracies, I'm not gonna say that something isn't up with Jim Carrey, because crazier things have been proven right. But I do think that this is just a 65-year-old man that's gotten some facial enhancements, even though I didn't think Jim Carrey was the type of person to get like filler or Botox, but also a 65-year-old man that's just emotional about the 50 plus years of work that he's put in over the entirety of his life.
There you guys go. All right. So I thought he made some good points. You know, yeah, it's odd, it's weird because he looks different. But if you think about it, he is aging. He's 65. Yeah, he's got it looks like to me he's got plastic surgery. And it was an emotional night. And look, he's human just like anybody else. So just because in a quick 20-second clip he wasn't acting like he always acts, doesn't mean it's not him. A lot of people say he would never get plastic surgery. He's spiritually enlightened, and when you're spiritually enlightened, you don't care about that kind of stuff, so I know he wouldn't do that. Well, my friends, again, you don't know him personally. He is an actor at the end of the day. And I get it. He was on a spiritual path. He was on an awakening path. At least it appeared like, right? But that doesn't mean he's defeated the ego 100% and that he doesn't like he's a totally enlightened guru now. Like even the most enlightened gurus out there can still struggle with ego from time to time. And they still could have those human emotions come up. Okay? And Carrey in no way is guru status. He is a Hollywood actor at the end of the day. Or was a Hollywood actor. Okay? And to be fair, my friends, he's got a very beautiful girlfriend right now, as you can see. He came out and said they're officially in a relationship, and she's much younger than him, all right? I think she's like in her 30s, and of course he's 65. So it totally makes sense to me. You know, again, he's human. He might have worries and concerns. A lot of people say, oh, he's rich, so she's going to want to be with him anyways. But no, maybe he does worry that, hey, you know, as you can see here, he was aging. He's got a nice, hot, young girlfriend. Maybe he thought, hey, I want to do something to improve my appearance, to make me look a little bit younger for her. Because a woman can do that. All right? Also, he was there with his son. So, look, if you guys are going along with this clone theory, do you think his girlfriend was a clone and his son was a clone? Or do you think that he was a clone fooling his son and his girlfriend? Like, you guys got to remember, they have to be in on it too if he's a clone, because they were there. Yeah? So either they're both clones and all these people are getting cloned, or he's a clone and everybody else has figured it out except for his girlfriend and his son, who know him the best. To me, that's not logical at all. To me, I think he probably got work done. All right? Nah. I don't know. You guys are free to believe what you want, okay? But to me, it's just clear that that's Jim. Yes, he acted a little bit different, but is he not allowed to? Does he always have to be that character that he was before, when he made it clear that he didn't want to play these different characters anymore? He took a step away from Hollywood. Who you witnessed before was a character. Maybe this was just his authentic self. He's been away from the limelight for years now. Maybe he's just adjusted to Jim. And you guys are still hanging on to the character that was Jim Carrey, who wasn't really him. And now he's at his 50th anniversary, or 50th Lifetime Achievement Award show. And he's just being himself, which is what he meant This is my funny face now. This is me. Okay? So that's what I took away from it. And you know, I get fired up about these things because I've experienced these kind of things before. All right? People making accusations against me. The exact same accusation. I've had people call me a clone, and I'm telling you guys, I'm not a clone. All right, I want to show you guys a little picture. For those who've been watching my videos for a long time now, you'll remember this. But for all the new people, yeah, I've went through a little transformation myself. Here's a picture of me like, what, 4 or 5 years ago. I was overweight, I was unhealthy, I was at a low point in my life. And yeah, I changed my life. I lost a lot of weight, and I started going to the gym. You know, I found a partner. And, you know, like I said, a woman changes you as well. And you want to do better. You want to better your appearance and everything like that. And so, you know, I put in that work. And then when I started making videos again, I had multiple people say, it's not Lionel anymore. He's a clone. What's happened to the real Lionel? So I know for a fact that a person makes a little bit of an adjustment to what they look like. And nowadays, everything's a conspiracy. I've had people call me, even just with the video I just did, it happens all the time. People try and say that I'm a woman. Oh, nowadays every man is a woman and every woman is a man. Not even just in Hollywood, even with truthers. I'm not the only one. I see people calling David Icke a woman. I see tons of different truthers being accused of being inverts. And again, I can assure you, I have a penis. I'm not a woman. I can assure you that. All right, so I get all these crazy things, and now I'm getting, oh, I'm a CIA plant, when it's obvious, just a little bit of common sense. I know I'm going back to the common sense thing, but a little bit of common sense. Who's paying a guy who gets 2,000 to 4,000 views a video? Oh, I got 17,000 views, big whoop. Who's paying me? Nobody's paying me. Okay, so yeah, it gets frustrating for me. I deal with a lot of hate every day on social media and everything like that. I do, and it gets a little bit frustrating. So yeah, I come on videos to vent the way I feel. I wasn't expecting that video to get that many views and whatnot, and I figured my audience was on the same page as me. And I even tried to say, if you're not, I'm not meaning this as an attack, but I'm just venting like I usually do, right? So sorry, I'm not perfect if I offended you, you know, but it's very frustrating for me, especially when I'm on the other end a lot of times being called a clone or a transsexual or whatever like that, all these crazy theories. I see firsthand and experience how a big majority of people have lost touch with reality about things. And I find it very sad, okay? I find it very sad because it just means there's been so much lies that have happened due to the powers that be that people don't trust anything or anyone anymore. And I get it. Question everything. Have discernment. But that's what I was trying to say in the video. There's certain times a little bit of common sense. And sure, you don't want to, you want to believe Jim is a clone. You feel like it's common sense that he is that because he's a celebrity and all that kind of stuff. That's fine, okay? Believe what you want. But for me, really, you think I'm a clone? You think I'm an agent? You think I'm a woman? That's where the common sense has to come in, okay? Still, if you want to question things and whatever, like, I'm not going to be here to tell you what to think. But come on, my friends, you know? Each to their own at the end of the day, though, okay? Each to their own. I just wanted to set the record straight, show a few more clips, give my side of things a little bit more, assure you guys I'm not on any payroll or anything like that. And at the end of the day, there's so much more important things to be talking about than clones and Jim Carrey. So let's just get back to what's going on in the world. That's right, we'll be resuming the regular content again. My friends, we're on the brink of World War III. That's the fact at the end of the day, and a major reset. And we're going through a pole shift event as well. So let's not get distracted now. Let's focus on what really matters. And that's what I'm going to be putting my attention to from now on too, now that we've cleared that all up. All right? So that's it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you subscribed if you're new. And that's it. Until next time, Lionel signing off.